Okay, so if your wrestler is on our waiting list for summer camp, this is how it works. I guess traditionally, the statistics are 5 to 8% dropout rate in the camp industry. That seems a little bit high, but I think the 5% is for some camps it's true. For some camps we haven't. So I cannot tell you, oh, there's a 74% chance you'll get a chance to get into the camp. There is no chance you can get in. There's just no rhyme or reason. I can't predict who's going to break their ankle at football camp, who's going to change their mind. I just can't. But here's a couple of things. So the 28-day camp, almost no one ever drops out because you have thought long and hard about signing up for a month-long camp. 5-day camps, almost no one drops out. Now, if they do drop out, it's because of a legitimate injury. And obviously, when people drop out of camp, they always say they're injured. Let's be honest. We've all called in sick to work when we weren't sick. Okay, I've done it too when I was a teacher. So, but everyone says they're hurt, and that's fine. Some are hurt, some are not. Some got scared, some changed their mind. Some maybe they broke up with their girlfriend. They're upset. Maybe grandma's coming into town. Maybe they decided to go to a fun team camp. Maybe they got soccer camp. Maybe they have volleyball tryouts that got moved. I mean, life gets in the way, right? So for whatever reason, people do drop out of all of the camps. Now, the 28-day camp, no one just generally changes their mind. Anyone drops out of that, they legitimately are injured. The 5-day camps, generally, no one changes their mind because 5 days is just a 5-day camp. There are dropouts in all of those camps, though, for various reasons, but just not a lot. The 14-day camp, we generally have more. Last year, one day, I had 3 dropouts like in 8 minutes. It was just like nonstop because some kids kind of get scared and nervous about a 14-day camp, So I recommend people who want to do the 28-day camp to sign up for that waiting list. You go online, you type it, there's no money down, and then you also check the box for the 14-day camp. Maybe even follow that up with an email. Hey, we want to be on the waiting list for the 28-day camp, but we will also take a spot at the 14-day camp if that opens up. Here's why. Because when someone comes to the 28-day camp and, they fracture their thumb, they're not going to finish that camp. So some of the dropout of the 28-day camp, and I'm not going to lie, some kids just don't make it for 28 days for various reasons. So at the end of the summer, boom, there's a 14-day camp that popped up. So I would definitely go that route. And the 14-day camp is a very good second best option to the 28-day. Now, if you just want to sign up for the waiting list for the 28-day camp, go ahead and do that. Now, waiting lists for the 5-day camps, sign up for those too. I would say the best opportunity to get off of the waiting list is with the 14-day camp for the reasons I just discussed. But like I said, there's no rhyme or reason. You just can't figure this stuff out. When people sign up for the waiting list, they don't email us and say, hey, remove us from the waiting list. Well, I lie. Someone just did that about 5 days ago. I think it's the first time in like 5 or 6 years. We don't want the spot. We're doing something different. So you say, how many people are on the waiting list? And I'm like, well, it's May 10th. I mean, by the time you hit May, the waiting list just kind of falls apart, right? And so we used to contact one person and then like give them a day and a half. Okay, contact the next. So really, the waiting list just fell apart. People see that, they delete it because like, I'm not coming to that camp, that waiting list I signed up for 3 months ago. So if you're on a waiting list for the camp, it almost doesn't matter how many people are ahead of you because most of those people have given up. They've chose other camps. They've booked family vacation. They've done something different. So if you are on a waiting list, what we generally do is I would encourage you to email us like maybe, once every 2 weeks. Hey, we're still interested. We still want to be on the waiting list. We do want to come to that 28-day camp. If a spot opens up, I'm just letting you know that we're ready. And that way, Chad will save this stuff, right? And that way, the waiting list that might have 78 people on it. Once we hit May, most of those people have given up, but the ones that we know are still interested, we kind of have you earmarked. So just an email once every, let's say 10 to 12 days, and then Chad can kind of earmark that. And I don't blame people for giving up, because you have a life. It's like, oh, I'm going to soccer camp, and then the coach is doing a wrestling camp in the fall. We're just going to do that. We can't get into the Purler Wrestling Camp. It's over. And so the waiting list does sort of fall apart. You can't say, oh, I'm number 64 on a waiting list, I'm never going to get in. Doesn't work that way. So that's what I would recommend. That's sort of the ins and outs, how it works. But there's no rhyme or reason. We literally have had, almost 15 kids drop out of a specific camp, within like a 2-week period. And then I've had camps where almost no one drops out. But generally speaking, the 5-day, 14-day, 28-day camps, that's kind of how it works. But if you follow up with us on occasion, I think then that Chad can kind of earmark, hey, this is someone who's still very serious about the camp. And, the fact that there is no money down when you sign up for the waiting list makes it pretty easy. Now, if you say, well, I want to come to the 14-day camp, but I'll take a 5-day camp, there's still a few spots open, I would definitely sign up for a 5-day camp just to secure your spot. And then if you get pulled off the waiting list to do the longer camp, we can work through that as well. But generally speaking, that's kind of how it works. Either way, we'd love to have you. I would always recommend trying to sign up by January 1st. Some of our camps are 28-day camps last year. This past season, some of them sold out, before high school state, which was like February 13th, I think. Some of those camps sold out. So that's just kind of what we're up against. When you go to the Meat Market College camps, they have 750 kids on the mat, an indoor football stadium with 42 mats. All they got to do is kick out another roll of wrestling mat, throw another 14 kids on it. We can't do that. We have limited space in the mat. We have limited bed space. We have limited showering capacity. So, once a camp is sold out, there's really no way to squeeze anyone in unless there's a cancellation. So make sure you sign up very early. And if you have friends who are coming, teams that are coming, don't wait for them. Say, hey, I love you guys, but you're on your own. I signed up 5 days ago. You better do the same. Don't drag your feet. So that's always the best way to do it, because our camp is small, group drill intensive, and that's the reason people like it. So there's not much wiggle room, but that's sort of how it works. Thank you guys.